Yeah, I think, at this level, when you have a team like Monterey with the quality that they have and we're on the road, those margins they're very tight. And, they score a goal 3 minutes in off a throw-in where we kind of get opened up in a seam, and it's very difficult. Huge mountain to climb when you give up an early goal like that, especially, with the away goals that they had scored. Not the way you want to start a match. And then, like you said, we had a very good chance to kind of bring it back level. And at the end of the day, we didn't give ourselves much of a chance today, with giving up the 2 early goals. I thought after that, we kind of lost our way a little bit. We stopped executing, our buildup kind of slowed down. Some of our rotations weren't as clean as, needed to be. We started getting impatient and stretched out a little bit defensively. And, I think it was mostly probably because we were down 2 goals. It's difficult, mentally. And yet we have to do a better job of not giving away that early goal in a situation where we don't get broken down. It's just a throw-in. And then obviously our composure after that needs to be better to stick with the plan, stick with the way that we play. And every time we moved the ball and created that 3-line and found the outside backs and played, into the channels or switched play, we had some very good moments in that first half, but just not enough. And second half, we're in a very difficult situation. People have to remember, like, we're early in the year. We have 6 guys injured right now. We have some guys coming back into the team who we have to be careful with, managing their loads and, managing them coming back in from some soft tissue injuries. And you look at Monterey, they're in a completely different situation. They're gearing up for the playoffs. They're in postseason form. They're flying, and we're still in that building phase. And, I think it's pretty telling in that second half. They sub on Hurtado, Kranovitter, Pabon, and Funes Mori, 4 guys that would start on any team in MLS. And we have to sub on a couple guys that have hardly played, a couple academy guys, a draft pick, and those guys did their best. But we had to do that because we had some guys that just aren't capable of playing, 90 minutes in this type of window. And it becomes very tricky. So really the end of the game was about us trying to manage and not get injured. And unfortunately, with the way this early part of the competition set up, which is why it's so difficult for the MLS teams, it's very tricky. We played, a game 3 days ago. We played another game 3 days prior to that, and another game 3 days prior to that. We have another game in 2 days. So just it's very difficult for us starting the season that way. Very, very pleased with the players' effort over the 4 games. Disappointed today the way that it ended. The players wanted to do well in the tournament. They gave a lot and just not enough today. So we'll put it away and put it behind us and throw everything into the league now.
Patrick Murphy.
Caleb, you just touched on this a little bit, but you were so proud of your guys' performance in the first leg, and kind of showing that you could play with a team like this. Tonight, it looked like the talent gap was a bit different, and maybe that had to do with some of the injuries. With MLS teams trying to win this tournament, does that talent gap need to decrease, whether that's spending or whatnot, in order to continue to make a push to win this thing on a regular basis?
Yeah, a lot's been talked about that. It's for sure when you look at just purely budget, there are some discrepancies with some teams versus some teams in League MX. But MLS teams are spending more and more, which helps. It's a little bit hard to say today for us because we have quite a few guys out, so if those guys are in, then now our depth becomes a little bit stronger. We start to add up the players that we have out. Obviously Lucas Zelleran out, massive player for us, designated player. Milton Valenzuela, obviously Perry Kitchen. You've got obviously Aiden Morris out. You start to add it up a little bit. Kevin Molino, who's another big player for us who's not been in. And you can just kind of see again when we have to kind of make some subs, really you start to see that there's a massive, when they sub and we sub, now, yes, there's quite a bit of a difference. But first half, I think it was more about us giving up a couple goals and not finishing the ones we had, and overall just not executing the way that we normally do.